we're going to have a good fourth quarter in this industry. And when you look at next year, even if there is an economic challenge, our industry, our medium, has been elevated so much by COVID and people recognizing what we're doing. And we learned a lot as an industry that we're in a really good position.
Get ready for excitement, opportunity, and of course, a little promo fun. The PPAI Expo is where the industry goes to build connections and discover insights for a successful year in promo. Exhibits open January 16th through 18th, and the PPAI conference will take place January 15th.
Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hossman, and joining me today is a repeat rock star. He's been here several times before in multiple different, so wearing different hats, but he's here today as the president and CEO of PPAI. Dale Denham, I am always honored that you are willing to kind of join in and kind of share what's going on. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. And I always enjoy catching up with you, whether it's privately or on a podcast with you. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So there is, we talked about it right before we started going. You're traveling around the country. You're in a hotel room making time for me. So I really appreciate that. So first, let's just, there's a million things to get to, but let's start with EXPO. This is the big event for PPAI each year, and quite frankly, for the industry too. So, as we are recording this now, it's all of a sudden it's coming up. It's getting bigger in kind of the windshield. So, what's the latest on this year's event? And, are you registered yet?
Well, I'm hoping that I get to go whether I register or not. My badge does help me a little bit there. But, I think about, it sort of hit me when you opened up reminding me the title is Delivering Marketing Joy, right?
Yeah.
And when I think about Expo, it delivers some serious joy. It's that jolt that gets us going. And good news right now, although not everybody will agree with me on this, we've already sold more booths than we did last year when Expo actually occurred. So the total number of booths that occurred this past January, we already have more than that, and we're going to have more over the next few months. So it's going to be a bigger show. And that's good because it's more options and more products. It's bad because some people will be more tired and more difficult for them, and so they'll have to plan their show a little better and maybe go to bed a little bit earlier at night, but that's going really well. Our registration is exceeding even our own improved expectations. So we're both a little happy and nervous about that because we really have this goal this year, which we had last year, to have the right attendees. So what we discovered in COVID was when there were only 6,000 attendees, the vendors were actually really happy because those 6,000 people came ready to do business. And so we don't want so many people that it's crowded. We want it crowded. And it's a really fine line. So if it's crowded and it's all the right people, we're happy. But we're continuing to try to make sure that the people coming to Expo are coming there to do business and have a good time.
Yeah. It is such a fine line. It's so funny. I remember the year that, going into it was a real concern and the numbers were down a couple of years ago. And I remember saying, man, I had a great time because I did get to have more conversations and all that stuff. But the reality of it is it's just, numbers are a part of it. If you are going to make that investment as a supplier, you want to see as many people as you can. So I totally understand that, but you're right about getting the right people there. It's one of the reasons I like events like that where distributors also have to have skin in the game because I think it generally gets the right people there because they were invested. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And we do get the right people there for sure. The question is, if I'm going to add 1,000 people, I want them to be the 1,000 right people there, which is one of the reasons we implemented fees for non-members and we have different limits. And so it's been really useful and productive. And this year we've got a few new tricks up our sleeve so that those who come every year and experience the joy also get a little bit of a new experience. Not to mention a lot of new faces on the team at PPAI that people will get to meet.
Yeah, and that actually leads me great. Well, this is why you're a pro, man. You lead me right into the next ones because this is, I know you have a lot of input on Expo, and I mean, you're obviously the leader of the organization, but it's not a one-person endeavor. So you have this whole team that puts this together. Can you talk a little bit about the team at PPAI and what your vision is for the team moving forward?
Sure. So first of all, I want to say, yes, I do have some input into Expo, but I will tell you that it runs really, really well thanks to a great team led by Ellen Tucker. And not enough people know how fantastic of a leader and a person she is. And she's been behind the scenes for a very long time in Expo. She's front and center now, and she was this past year. But I want more and more people to meet and know Ellen. Reporting into her is another amazing person, Lindsay Davis, who you know.
Yeah.
And I have just been the energy that she has brought with her since joining the organization. She runs the sales team. And then we have a woman who's been with us a couple of years. Her name is Ashley Vanderstuff, actually. And she's been with us a couple of years, and she is the operations manager of the trade show. And between the three of them and a lot of other people, let's be clear, there's a lot, but those are the key leadership people of that. But there's dozens of people, and of course there's the sales team and Connie, who's been with us forever, and Sandy and Taylor, and we've added Heather and their support team, Amy. I mean, I could go through the whole list, but a tremendous amount of people there. And on the ops side, Vicky Saipian, who's been with us, I think, 20 plus years.
Wow.
It's just amazing, and the amount of care that they each take and the passion. And Lindsay has also taken over our professional development. So reporting into Lindsay is two different people, Jill, and Jill begun works on the in-person speakers. And then we just added JGR, and she works on the online and the overall certification of the online, and she's got some pretty neat things up her sleeve. So fantastic team, and that's just some of the Expo team, and PPAI has a much bigger team than that outside of it. But great people at the Expo team, and really just Ellen does a fantastic job of leading them.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm glad we had an opportunity to kind of talk about that, because I think when you are explaining that, what I'm hearing is you've got a great mix of experience, those people that have been 20 years and all that stuff, and then some new voices in the room too, and that's really cool. Obviously, I know quite a few of those people, and they do a great job.
And I do get input, but Toby, I submit my input, and it goes through the filter like everybody else.
Yeah,
and there are many times they tell me no. And that's one of the things Ellen is really good at, is telling me no. And sometimes they just don't even get back to me because the idea is not worth it. And it's a lot of really good people with a lot of good ideas. And so they try to process all that information. So I really try not to give them too many ideas. They're doing a fantastic job.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, it occurred to me as I was thinking about our conversation that we just have lived through a strange and trying time in the last 3 years, and PPAI is no different. So, obviously you took over during, in the middle, at the beginning, whatever you want to call this, of these weird times. So since taking over the helm, what are you most proud of?
I'm gonna give you two answers, because the first one is sort of duplicative.
Okay.
The thing I pride myself most on my career is something I also am super proud of right now, and that's the team that we are building. We are not finished yet. I am not saying we are finished, but we are really close to finish. Okay. You always change, right? There's always an evolution, but we have really built a team of people that love working together, love what we're doing, and are passionate about adding value to this industry. And again, I just mentioned a couple of the names that but there's so many other people that it's just fascinating. It really is, when you just put all these things together, 1 and 1 equals 5, right? It's not even 3. It's 1 and 1 equals 5. And we are seeing that more and more. And what's happening is everybody's working together. So I'm absolutely most proud of the team. And some of that is people that were already there. Again, let's take Ellen, giving her more responsibility and elevating her, and the people that she's attracted. I remember Lindsay telling me how excited she was to work with me. And now she only talks about how great it is to work with Ellen. And so, there are really great people, as you said, that we've had a long time, because Ellen's been there almost a decade. And then there are a lot of new people, and we're working well together. So I'm most excited about that. In terms of things we've launched that I'm most proud of, that is the PPAI 100. And that was led by Josh Ellis, who has I guess I could say I'm just super proud of the media team and what Josh has accomplished in a very short time and how much he's elevated us overall. But the PPAI 100 specifically because it ties directly to our strategic plan of elevating the industry, driving responsibility, whether it's sustainability, product safety, any of those things, and driving digital transformation. And all of that and more is baked into that PPAI 100. So it's very rare that you can drive a strategic plan with one initiative so clearly and meaningfully. And I know that some people, friends of yours and mine, occasionally don't like lists. This is a list I'm super proud of because of the activity it drives and what the media team has done. And it's fantastic. So people is really what I'm proud of. And if you want one product that's new, I think it's been fantastic what Josh and his team have done.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a whole great team of folks there for sure. And I think, it's being sort of the media company for an industry. And obviously ASI has a group and you guys have a group, but they do a really thoughtful and meaningful, as those are the words I think you used, job of covering the industry and trying to drive it forward. So agree on all fronts. So that's really cool. All right. Final questions, man. So this was one I was like literally sitting here trying to come up with something a little bit different to ask you, because I think that, and we mentioned the media, and social media is a part of that. And it's like everywhere you turn, there's negativity, and that's just the reality of the world we live in. And it seems like there's plenty of reasons everybody is giving us to be concerned about the economy right now. But I wanted to ask you a little bit of a different tact from your seat at PPAI. Give me a reason to be optimistic over the next year or so.
Okay, I'll start within the next few months.
Okay, great.
I think that for the next few months, we're going to see the budgets that some people held off on because there was a little bit of a slowdown for some people this summer. I think we're going to see them released. And I think those dollars, if people are smart, will be taken and carefully invested into next year. And so we're going to have a good fourth quarter in this industry. And when you look at next year, even if there is an economic challenge, our industry, our medium, has been elevated so much by COVID and people recognizing what we're doing. And we learned a lot as an industry that we're in a really good position. Yeah. That doesn't mean it will be easy to sell as it has been perhaps in the past, but it will be easy when people get the right message. And so I'll put a little plug in. They really need to attend, whether it's conference day or other education events, and really get pumped up and ready to go, and then focus their efforts where there is opportunity, because man, there's still a lot of opportunity, a lot. And that's why I'm optimistic. That doesn't mean everybody is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Some people will get scared, they'll retreat, and those who invest and are excited, it doesn't mean it will be easy, but even if it doesn't pay off in the first 3 to 6 months of next year, it will pay off.
Yeah. No, you and I think, are kindred spirits on that. I agree with you. And I think that regardless of economic viability and all that sort of thing, the reality of it is those people who invest in their marketing, invest in communication with their clients and elevating the industry tend to come out on top in every economic season, if that makes sense. So that's
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Dale. I really appreciate you taking the time. Real quick, because I know Expo is coming. Where can folks get registered? Where can they learn more?
Yeah, so expo.ppai.org, that has everything that you need. Make sure you register, I think, by December 7th, because that's when free registration for members ends, and then the price goes up to $49 for members and $149 for non-members. And I would say, don't forget to get your hotel, because last year we actually sold out the hotels. I think it was in November, but I know for sure it was early December. And a lot of people didn't get their hotel they wanted. And based on registration right now, I think that's going to happen again. So expo.ppai.org.
Yeah, I will tell you, I'm not joking that I am registered and actually bringing my daughter for the first time. And so she's registered as well. So I'm super fired up about the event this year. So I'm really excited, man. Thank you for all the work that you do. And thank you very, very much for taking the time to be on. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time. Marketing.